Found an empty condom wrapper in my wife's car, and now I must confront her about possible infidelity while fearing the truth. We have been together for about 10 years and married for 6. We have no kids now, but we were planning to start trying pretty much now. We are both very active, going to the gym, eating healthy, and are both in relatively great shape. My wife is gorgeous with a phenomenal body, but I would probably consider myself maybe a 5 or 6 out of 10 on the attractiveness scale. I realize that. But we have always had a really strong relationship. We started as great friends, realized we were just right for each other, and that developed into true romantic love and devotion. The sex was always fantastic. There were never any issues there with quality or frequency. I was washing my wife's car, as I do pretty often. In the course of cleaning the interior, I found an open empty condom wrapper under her passenger seat. We don't use condoms since she had always been on birth control. I am driving myself insane with all the stories and scenarios running through my brain. She spends a lot of time at the gym working with weights and doing her cardio. Like, 3 hours 4 days a week, so there are frequent times when we are apart. She has never given me a reason to suspect she has been unfaithful. I know I have to confront her, but I'm scared to death of what might be the truth. She is my world and I can't imagine starting a family with anyone else. I'm afraid I'm going to break. Edit to add, wow. You all are amazing. I am so touched by the DMs and heartfelt responses. I had no idea I would get so many responses so quickly. I wanted to add some details to save me from having to reply to all the common comments. My wife has never given me a reason to think she has cheated before this. She has always been loving and affectionate, and we were looking forward to starting a family very soon. Some have speculated that kids coming soon may have led her to one last fling? I don't know. Possibly. We are an open book to each other with our finances pretty much entirely tied up as one. She comes from a pretty upper middle class background. Her parents are very comfortable. I come from a home where my parents were fighting their own demons, and so I didn't get a lot of attention growing up. Not a criticism, it was easy to get lost in the shuffle of my parents' problems. We are cordial but not super close. I am way closer to her family and I love her mom and dad and younger sister. Financially we are fine. Together we make about $150,000 per year. She makes $60,000 as a law firm assistant, I make $90,000 as an auto technician. We own a house together that we were able to purchase with a down payment from her family. If worst comes to worst, I have no interest in fighting for that money. It is theirs and they can have it back if we end up selling the house. Some have commented about the amount of time she is at the gym. We go to separate gyms. She gets off work at 4 and goes straight to the gym where she does a class, then works out with weights and the cardio on the treadmill. I was never suspicious of the time she spends there. By the time she gets home, I am already there and she jumps directly in the shower, and then we make dinner together and hang out. As far as a lawyer or an investigator, there's no way I could do that in secret with the way we manage our finances, so that's out for now. Someone explained to me how to get detailed phone records from Visible, so that's my next step. I will get the records when I have some time to myself and see if there is a number that she's in contact with a lot that I do recognize. I'll try to figure out where to go from there and let you all know. Update 1. First off, I found a wrapper, not an actual used condom, so the suggestion of DNA testing was not useful. And thanks to someone for the information about getting detailed phone records from Visible. Today at work during some break time I requested a download of the phone records, but it says the request could take up to 45 days. I can't wait that long. I also drove by her work on my lunch break. I don't know why or what I expected, but her car was there as it normally is. Lots of good advice to track her: get a VAR, look at her phone without her knowing, hire an investigator, a lawyer, etc. I can't deal with this. I am taking the advice a lot of you had, and I'm just going to confront her today when she gets home. As some of you suggested, I plan to just put the condom wrapper on the table in plain sight and watch her body language. I am so scared and nervous I am almost pissing my pants. I am really starting to expect the worst. For me, if she cheated, there is zero chance we will stay married. Zero. I don't care what excuses or reasons or whatever she has, I am 100% done. No therapy, no counseling, nothing. I can't believe I'm typing this. It makes it seem real. I can't imagine her sucking and fucking some other guy, or guys. That's an image I could never get out of my head for the rest of my life. As far as assets, we don't have a lot. We have a pretty nice house that her dad helped us pay for. I'm happy to let her have it with my fair share and paying back her father. Otherwise is bullshit, like 2 cars, some furniture and some decent savings that we have both contributed to, so I'm willing to split 50-50. The thought of divorce is burning a pit in my gut. I'll post again after I confront her. Either way, I think this thing comes to a conclusion tonight. Update 2. Dashcam. Yes, I've checked the dashcam footage. Nothing suspicious or out of the ordinary. Commutes to work, the gym and home. Maybe a stop or two for typical errands. Grocery store, cleaners. Zero suspicious activity. But she knows there is a dashcam too, so who knows? Maybe she's just being really careful. Our current state of relationship, it's really strong as far as I know. She comes home, we share a glass of wine while we make dinner together, talk about our day, cuddle on the couch if we watch a show. We really have what anyone from the outside would be jealous. No feelings of distance, no hiding of phone, and no drop-off in sex, which has always been and still is great. Her gym time, with as much as she does, it is really reasonable for her to spend 2.5 hours at the gym. I've gone with her. I've seen her work out. It's pretty extensive and her body shows it. I am so proud of how great she looks and how she takes such good care of herself and encourages me and cares about our health. I've never been suspicious about it, maybe foolishly. Yes, she comes home and showers right away, but she's typically sweaty and feels gross. She doesn't avoid me when she walks in. She will typically come over and greet me with a kiss on the lips and then hit the shower. If she was just having sex with a side piece, I think she would be more discreet. We spend almost all of our time together on the weekends. Go for a jog, date nights, happy hour with friends, dinners with family, etc. She has a lot of girlfriends from work and they sometimes go out for a girls' night like once every 2 months. But again, nothing suspicious. I see the credit card charges, so I don't believe she is hiding anything. And her girlfriends are all awesome and I love hanging out with them and their husbands, BFs. I'm torn and getting nervous about talking to her tonight, but I gotta get this over with. Update 3. My wife came home from the gym about 6:45 like always. I was sitting at the kitchen table alone. She came over, said hi, kissed me on the lips and went off to take a shower pretty much like usual. I'm NGL, when she came over to kiss me I smelled really hard for any evidence of man sense. Cologne, soap, deodorant, sweat, anything. I got nothing. As she showered I sat by myself, a ball of anxiety and damn near chickened out. She got out of the shower and came into the kitchen, wet hair, sweats, t-shirt, looking beautiful as usual. She sat down like we always do and expected to chat about our day. She could see immediately something was wrong. She asked what's up. I was shaking and so nervous like you cannot believe. I asked, have you lent your car to anyone recently? No. Have you had any passengers in your car the last few weeks? She thought for a second and said no. I asked, has anyone besides you or me been in your car the last few weeks? She said no. What the hell is going on? I asked to see her phone. She looked at me weird, said okay and just slid the phone to me across the table, no hesitation, and said, what the fuck is going on? I didn't touch her phone. I took the condom wrapper out of my pocket and set it on the table. She looked at it but had no real visible reaction. I didn't say a word. After a few seconds she said, what the hell is that? I said, it's a condom wrapper. She said, it's obviously a condom wrapper. What the fuck is a condom wrapper doing on our kitchen table? She was starting to get annoyed. She is either a really good actor or she sincerely had no idea what was happening. I told her I found it under her car seat while I was cleaning her car. She honestly looked dumbfounded. She said she had no idea how it got there. She really seemed sincere and was starting to get concerned. She asked if I thought it was hers. I said, I'm not sure, is it? She said, you have got to be kidding me. You seriously think I'm fucking around on you? Are you crazy? What the hell is wrong with you? She took her phone and waved it at me and said, here. Please. Look at my phone. Call my sister, who she shares everything with, call any of my friends. I'm not sure what you want me to say. We sat in silence, very uncomfortable for a minute or two. I didn't take my eyes off her, looking for any sign like a tear. I said, what would you think if the roles were reversed? She admitted she would probably be suspicious but would give me the benefit of the doubt. She literally went through every day the past couple of weeks, where she went, who she was with, what she was doing, trying to come up with any explanation. She finally remembered an after-work thing that they did for a friend of hers, a baby shower kind of thing at a restaurant after work. One of the girls at her office was invited but couldn't go, and so she asked my wife to please take her gifts to the party. My wife said sure. They walked down to my wife's car to put the gifts in and my wife's stuff was in the front passenger seat. As I said, the car she drives, Infinity Q60, has a tiny back seat and access to that back seat is ridiculously difficult. As her friend was putting the gifts in, she spilled her purse all over the floor behind the passenger seat. That was the only possibility she could think of. As I sat there, she insisted we call that friend immediately, and she did just that. She put her friend on speakerphone. She asked her if she remembered when she spilled her purse. She answered yes. She asked if she was sure she got everything picked up off the floor. She answered, I think so. Why? My wife then seriously asks, do you and BF's name use condoms? Her friend kind of chuckled and said yes. My wife asks what brand, and she answered Trojans. Same size too. My wife looked straight into my eyes and asked, when you dumped your purse in my car, is there a chance there were condoms in it? Her friend said yes, it's not unusual for me to have condoms in my purse. Why? My wife told her friend about the wrapper. Her friend said she doesn't know why she would have an empty wrapper in her purse, but it is certainly possible. She hung up the phone and looked at me and asked if I would like to go through her phone. I said no, and she asked, mystery solved? I literally started crying. I was crying because I was so fucking relieved. I was crying because I am married to the most awesome woman in the world who loves me more than anything. And I was crying because I was racked with guilt that I thought she could be cheating. I felt miserable for how I must have made her feel. My incredible wife took it so well. She hit me with her dish towel and said, Jesus Christ, I cannot believe you could think I would cheat on you. But she admitted again she may have felt the same in my shoes. She even laughed a little and said it was kind of cute that I was so jealous and nervous about asking her about it. We decided to have our glass of wine and go out for dinner. At dinner we talked about how excited we were to start trying for a baby. I am 100,000% sure she is telling the truth. I know her. I know her like nobody else. I know her body language. I know her voice and how it sounds when she is stressed or hiding something. There was none of that. I hope none of you have to go through this, but thanks for all the well wishes. I will probably let my wife read this thread at some point, but not while it's still so fresh. Plus she'll probably rib me for going to Reddit for advice, she's not necessarily a fan. Ha. So all is good. Really really good. Update 4. We got home from dinner, and I couldn't stop looking at my wife. The relief that flooded me was overwhelming, but I also felt something else, deep, gut-wrenching guilt. She caught me staring at her across the dinner table and smirked. Still can't believe I'm not cheating on you? She teased, nudging my foot under the table. I laughed, but it was a nervous laugh. I feel terrible, I admitted. I let my paranoia get the best of me. I should have trusted you more. She reached across the table, took my hand, and squeezed. Hey, I get it. If I found a condom wrapper in your car, I'd probably be flipping tables. That made me chuckle, but she was right. If the situation were reversed, I would have been just as suspicious. We went home, had our wine, and for the first time in days, I felt at peace. That night, I held her tighter than ever. We made love, not just because we were trying for a baby, but because I needed to show her how much I loved her. The next morning, I woke up feeling lighter. My wife was already up, scrolling through her phone in bed. When she saw me, she grinned. Morning, detective. I groaned and buried my face in my pillow. God, you're never letting me live this down, are you? Absolutely not, she said, giggling. But then something changed. Her face got serious. Hey. This is weird, she muttered, scrolling through her notifications. I sat up. What's wrong? She turned the phone toward me. It's my friend, the one who dropped her purse in my car. She just texted me, like, 5 times in a row. Look at this. I took the phone and read the messages. Friend, hey, I just wanted to say sorry about yesterday. I didn't mean to freak you out. I really thought I got everything out of your car. But can you actually check under your seat again? I just remembered something and now I'm really freaking out. Please call me ASAP. My stomach tightened. What the hell does that mean? I don't know, my wife said, suddenly looking nervous. I jumped out of bed, threw on some clothes, and grabbed her car keys. I had to see for myself. She followed me barefoot into the garage, arms crossed, chewing on her lip. I opened the car door and shined my phone flashlight under the passenger seat again. I didn't expect to find anything. I had already cleaned it thoroughly. But then, I saw something. Something small. Something that made my blood run cold. A hotel key card. I stared at it for a moment, heart pounding in my ears. My wife crouched down beside me. What is it? She asked. Wordlessly, I held up the key card. Her face went pale. That's not mine, she whispered. I turned it over. There was a logo on the front, the Grand Crescent Hotel. I recognized it. It was one of the nicest hotels in the city. My wife pulled out her phone and immediately dialed her friend. The moment she answered, her voice was frantic. Oh my God, did you find it? Find what? My wife asked, her voice now laced with suspicion. The key card. Her friend practically shouted. I lost it last week and I thought maybe it was still in your car. I snatched the phone from my wife. Why the hell would you have a hotel key card in the first place? There was silence. Then, finally, a shaky voice, because it wasn't mine. My wife and I locked eyes. What do you mean? My wife asked, gripping my arm. Her friend hesitated. Look, I shouldn't be telling you this. But it was in my boyfriend's wallet. And I swear to God, it wasn't from when we were together. I suddenly felt dizzy. This had nothing to do with my wife. It had everything to do with her friend. Her friend's boyfriend. And, if my gut was right, whoever he was sleeping with. Update 5. My wife's face twisted in confusion. Wait. Are you saying your boyfriend cheated on you? Her friend hesitated. Then, with a deep breath, she muttered, I don't know, but I think so. I put the phone on speaker. Start from the beginning, I said, my pulse still racing. Her friend sighed. A couple weeks ago, I found that hotel key card in my boyfriend's wallet. He freaked out when I asked him about it, said it was old, and that I was overreacting. But something felt off. I was going to check the hotel, but then I lost the damn card. Must have dropped it when I spilled my purse in your car. My wife and I exchanged looks. This was getting messier by the second. So you think he used it recently? My wife asked. I don't know, her friend admitted. But I'm losing my mind. I called the hotel yesterday, but they wouldn't tell me anything. They said only the person who checked in could get details. I looked at the card again. What if we go there? I asked. In person. Her friend hesitated. Would they even tell us anything? Maybe not over the phone, I said, but if we go there, act confident, like we lost something in the room or left our credit card, they might slip up. My wife nodded. It's worth a shot. Her friend exhaled. Okay. Meet me there in an hour. An hour later, We pulled into the parking lot of the Grand Crescent Hotel. It was a sleek, modern building, definitely not the kind of place you book for just a casual stay. This was a special occasion type of hotel. Or, in this case, a cheating type of hotel. Her friend was already waiting near the entrance, arms crossed, looking both furious and terrified. "Okay," she said when we approached. "What's the plan?" "I'll go in first," I said. "Act like I stayed here recently and left something behind. If they won't tell me anything, maybe one of you can try next." They nodded, and I walked into the lobby. The receptionist, a polished woman with a name tag that read Stephanie, smiled at me. "Good afternoon, sir. How can I help you?" I put on my best charming but stressed face. "Hey, I think I left my wallet in one of the rooms a few days ago. I was staying with a buddy, but he booked the room. I don't remember the number, but it was under his name. Any chance you could check for me?" She hesitated. "I'm sorry, but for privacy reasons, I can't give out guest information." I sighed dramatically. "Yeah, totally get that. It's just. It had my ID in it. If I could just see if anything was left in the lost and found for that room, that'd be amazing." She wavered. For a second, I thought she'd shut me down. Then, she glanced around and leaned in slightly. "What was the name on the reservation?" I had to think fast. My wife's friend had told us her boyfriend's name, Derek Carter. I lowered my voice. "It should be under Derek Carter." Her eyes flicked to the computer screen, fingers typing. My heart pounded as I watched her scan the records. Then, I saw it. That tiny, flickering change in her expression. She knew something. Her lips pressed into a thin line. "I'm sorry, sir, but there's nothing under that name." "Bullshit." I smiled politely. "Are you sure? Maybe he used a different card? Or maybe it was under someone else's name?" She straightened, suddenly all business. "I'm sorry. I can't help you." That was it. That was the confirmation. Something had happened here. I walked out, hands clenched into fists. My wife and her friend were waiting just outside. "Well?" Her friend asked, eyes wide. I looked at her. "Your boyfriend was definitely here." She paled. "Oh my God. And he wasn't alone." Now on to second story. Bolted from Thanksgiving dinner when my best friend invited my ex without warning, leaving everyone confused, including my sister. I am 21, female, and my ex-BF is 20. 3 days ago, my BSF invited me to celebrate Thanksgiving with her and our other friends. We were able to invite partners, siblings, etc. My older sister, 24, arrived before I did. So a little over a while later, she texted me, but I was driving and my phone was on DND, so I couldn't read her message. Plus I don't want to risk getting a ticket lol, and also, before I left my house, she called me and said that she drove to my BSF's house an hour earlier because BSF needed help with something and I don't know what it was. Well, when I finally arrived to my BSF's house, I parked into the driveway and got out. I made sure to double check if I had locked my car or not before I headed inside. The door was unlocked and I didn't need to knock because my BSF says that we aren't strangers and that she trusted me most. Aw sweet, but either way, I still texted her to let her know that I had arrived and she reacted with a thumbs up. I opened the door, walked inside and closed it behind me. I walked inside the living room, no one was there. I then went to the dining room and everyone was sitting there while some were setting up the table, placing plates, forks, spoons, napkins, etc. However, when I took a few steps inside the dining room, I saw my ex sitting on the side of the table where I could clearly see his face and my brain really said oh hell no, and without thinking for a second, I turned around, opened the front door and walked out. I still had my shoes on so I was quick to leave. I thought that no one had saw me, but when I got into my car and started the engine, I heard my BSF shouting my name. I know this might sound rude, but I didn't even glance at her and drove off immediately. I got a few texts from my BSF, but I didn't hear any notifications because I had my phone on DND, but when I did, I was already home and received like 10 plus messages from her and they were all pretty much the same. "Hey, my name, why did you leave so suddenly? Dinner hasn't started yet and you're already gone. Where did you go? Did something urgent happen? Why did you leave?" She be acting as if my ex wasn't there. Like, girl, was I being paranoid or was my ex really there? I just left her on read and haven't spoken to her or anyone else yet. Even today when she called me, I didn't answer. Thing is, my sister, I forgot about her and I haven't heard from her yet. I did text her before I wrote this post, but she hasn't responded yet, so in the meantime, I'll be waiting for her response. Oh, and the message she had sent me said, "Yo, my name, your ex just arrived with my BSF's name as brother. Did you know that he was coming?" I responded with no. Update 1. Hi lovelies. I know that y'all don't remember me, but it's fine. First, I would like to thank those few PPL who commented on my last post. About 2 months ago, I made a post, on another account, ABT me leaving my, kinda ex best friend's house after seeing my ex-BF there. Y'all can read it here. I'd if the link works, so LMK if it doesn't. A quick recap, sorry if it's long. A month earlier before the incident, my best friend and I planned on spending Thanksgiving, Christmas together, like how we used to do most of the times. That same week, she suggested that we spend it at her house and maybe I could spend the night there. Which, NGL, was a great idea, so I agreed. Well, fast forward to Thanksgiving. I arrived to her house and the door was unlocked, so I just let myself in. To make it clear, we've been best friends for many years, so it was normal for us to just go in each other's house at some times, especially in events without knocking. And if you're gonna ask, yes, she gave me permission too. Once I was inside, my eyes immediately spotted a familiar figure, who definitely was my ex, sitting at the side of the table where I could clearly see his face. I didn't even hesitate and immediately turned around and left. My best friend then tried to chase me down by yelling for me, but I was already gone by then. I definitely didn't ignore her, and like everybody else who went through the same situation, as soon as I drove back to my house, I had over 10 plus messages from her, basically asking why I left so early even though I had just arrived and that dinner was gonna start soon. I left her on scene. I only responded about 2 to 3 days later. BC, I still couldn't believe what just happened that day. In the text, I said, hey ___. Why didn't you tell me that ___, my ex, was gonna be there? In fact, why would you or anyone invite him, knowing damn well what he did to me in the past? Velp. She didn't know what to say to that and left me on scene for a couple of hours before texting me back, apologizing and saying that she didn't know that he was coming. I told her that was bullshit and that she knew damn well that he was gonna be there. She still hadn't answered me yet. The update, sorry to disappoint but nothing much happened. After I sent that text, she never bothered to reply. Before I even knew it, she blocked me. Why? Maybe she's hiding something from me. I shouldn't be saying that and suspecting her, considering us still being best friends, but I can't help it. I've never heard from her or seen her again. I tried asking our other mutual friends about her and they all said that they didn't hear anything from her ever since that day. Yes, I told them what happened and how it ended. Some girls even said that she had blocked them the same day she blocked me. Now, the only one who, possibly, knows where she's at and or why she isn't responding to anyone is her brother. But I don't feel comfortable texting him and I don't think that I have the courage to.